The World War II was the most destructive conflict. It cost more money, damaged more property, and caused more far-reaching changes than any other war that had ever been fought. The end of World War II also emancipated the threats of Hitler and Japan, and it was inevitable the Allies would fall out. The atomic bombing on Japan by the USA did end the Second World War, but marked the beginning of an intense rivalry, leading up to, oh my god, we can't do it this way. Okay, just go ahead and watch it.
Good morning there. Today we shall be talking about the Cold War.
Cold War? But why? Why was it called Cold War? Did it keep snowing throughout the war?
No, you moron. It was called Cold War because it never panned out into an actual war.
To be honest, it did involve actual war. But in small outbursts, in countries like Vietnam, Korea and Afghanistan.
So it was a war between Vietnam, Korea and Afghanistan?
Gosh, did you ever pay attention in your history lectures?
Of course I did you?
Let's leave that aside. By the end of the World War II, there were only two superpowers left. USA and the USSR.
United States of America and Union Soviet Socialist Republic. But why were they fighting?
For quite many reasons. But mainly, it was because they wanted to seek the ideological and the strategic influence throughout the world.
Yeah, so for how long did this war last?
It's best to say that the Cold War era was from like 1945 to 1990. But only two superpowers were left, as I said, the USA and the USSR.
Well, I knew that. During this period, the Eastern Bloc was formed and it consisted of the Soviet Union and the nations of the Warsaw Pact.
Oh yes, the Western Bloc had USA and the NATO nations as the capitalist bloc. So basically, Cold War was to dominate the international efforts for decades. It basically gave rise to all the major crises, examples like Cuban Missile Crisis, Vietnam and the Berlin Wall.
But wasn't USA a lot stronger? I mean, the US had atomic weapons, whereas the Soviet Union had lost 20 million people in war, as well as they were being ruled by a sociopathic mustachio called Joseph Stalin.
Yes, USA was strong, but it had its concerns because they needed a free capitalist market to propagate export from its nation.
Meanwhile, USSR was dealing with even greater problems. A powerful Germany invading them again, and it was propagating communism.
I know what happened next. The USSR encouraged the nations the creation of pre-communist governments. In Bulgaria,
You fool, it's not Bulgaria, it's Bulgaria.
I mean Bulgaria, Romania and Poland. But it was an easy thing to do because they had already occupied, those countries were already occupied by the Soviet troops.
But this led to a bifurcation of the nations, and it was called the Iron Curtain by Winston Churchill.
Wow, you're not as stupid as you look.
Excuse me?
So I was saying, but if the USSR did turn the countries into communist nations, who would buy USA's sweet industrial goods?
Exactly. So America came up with the containment policy, where the diplomat George F. Kennan gave the famous long telegram. Here he said that communism could stay where it was, but it would not be allowed to spread. This is exactly why very real wars were fought in Korea and Vietnam.
As a government report from 1950 put it, the containments were, first, to block expansion of Soviet power.
Second, expose the falsities of Soviet pretensions.
The third, to induce a retraction of the Kremlin's control and influence.
And fourth, in general, to foster the seeds of destruction within the Soviet system. But we are media students, aren't we? So maybe we should look at this through a media perspective.
Good question.
I always ask good questions.
What a joke!
Excuse me?
So I was saying, both sides had their own strategies to communicate to their masses and tell them about their ideologies. And also, they did try to defame their opposition.
In case of the Cold War propaganda, media that was highly appealing to the children was employed so as to convey American ideologies. Comic books, schools and textbooks were used.
Wow. Oh yes, and in 1951, the young audience was treated with better propaganda. They were given bubblegum cards. I'll leave the kid aside, but yeah, the cards were accompany bubblegums, and also the cartoon depictions had become more brighter because the kids consumed it the most.
Furthermore, the text in these cards was quite straightforward and easy to understand. Thus, the children who were able to read and write were able to grasp this without any difficulty.
Propaganda was exceptionally used in schools then, where educational videos produced by the Civil Defense Department of the American government were shown in an event of a nuclear attack.
The most famous video of this genre is Duck and Cover, where a cartoon turtle by the name of Bert is ducking and covering so as to avoid danger.
Really? Let's look at it then.
Dum dum, diddle dum dum, diddle dum dum, diddle dum dum. There was a turtle by the name of Bert, and Bert the turtle was very alert. When danger threatened him, he never got hurt. He knew just what to do. He'd duck and cover, duck and cover.
He did what we all must learn to do. You
And you
and you
and you duck and cover.
Be sure and remember what Bert the Turtle just did, friends, because every one of us must remember to do the same thing. That's what this film is all about. Duck and cover. This is an official civil defense film produced in...
Dude, USA is so cool, man.
No, buddy. USSR is better.
USA is much better.
No. USSR is better.
USA is any day better than USSR.
USSR is better.
USA is better.
USSR is better.
Well, we have cola. What do you have?
We have vodka.
Have you seen our American women?
Russian girls are much better.
Well, you guys are terrorists in every movie we see.
That's why aliens probe US citizens. Don't know why they attack you fat people.
You know what? USA is still a much better country.
You think your country is so cool? You have Justin Bieber.
The Cold War concluded when?
USA is better.
USSR is better.
USA is better.
USSR is better.
Guys, shut up! It's a stupid thing to fight about.
And we're trying to present something here.
Exactly.
And that's how the Cold War ended.